and talk to somebody. Um, Basically, I want to get the things in motion that make me disposable, right? We want Technoline to be able to run whether I'm here in Boise or visiting LA or
Or in Tokyo.
or in Tokyo. Exactly. Uh, that also means internally, I want to have a ticketing process. I mean, we got auto task and maybe that's where we do it, but I want to have something to where the client doesn't have to push a bunch of buttons, that they can reach out to me or whoever on the team, whether it's by text or email, whatever it is. And then once that hits us, there's got to be a process to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. So we know, oh, okay, we got somebody's having a Mac problem. So this goes over to Paul, or like I don't feel comfortable with the way it's set up right now. So there's going to be a lot of process in 24. There also I want to have clear goals as far as how many new clients I'm going to bring in. Um, I
Let me
want
ask you a question. How many clients can you take on with current processes in place?
to, I think, this comes back to what you said a long time ago about, flying the plane while you're building it. So however many clients, uh, I think one a month it would be more than I'm bringing right now. I think that's a very unambitious goal, but why don't I throw it down there?
Okay. I think as long as you can take it on right now and you're still improving on processes, I think you and Quinn and Bashir and Jeff are kind of all in the same boat with that. And Brian has a whole lot of pressure on him to do it as well. So I don't think that that's a bad goal. But again, if your theme and your focus is process driven, make sure you have the processes in place to take on those, right? So,
Right.
from what I gather though, while you were traveling, things were going right. People were doing what they needed to do. You were checked out. Things were rolling. No crazy fires that you had to put out.
Correct. Um, and I
Sounds
find
like some processes are there.
there, yeah, and it's really kind of accelerating right now because I was procrastinating on the legal stuff. Even though I've been paying for contracts as a service, but it's like, oh my God, I have to review these documents. Well, I finally did, and that's going to be in place, which means my designer can put together, the order form, which means that I can, do assessments with the clients and know like, oh yeah, okay, this one's going to be, cloud services, Microsoft licenses, Zoom phones, costs X. Boom, here it is. It has links from the website to the contracts if somebody wants to read them. You know, that was a huge, I mean, that was a huge overwhelm for me, having that hanging over my head. And now it's like, oh, we're almost there.
Well, that I think then is it really process driven on your theme then, or is it just revenue acceleration?
Um, no, it's going to be both. It's going to be both because I have other processes that, I mean, like the onboarding has been hanging me up. Like, oh, what do I do? And the client comes in, right? Because there's like essentially the welcoming committee, right? Um, oh, yeah, okay, schedule the meeting, do the deep dive on the network, send them cookies, all that, some of it tech, some of it's glad
Yep.
handing, right? Um, which I've never done in the past.
Okay. Well, all right. So then what I would guide then is to go towards laser focus on one of the or the other, right? And I'm not saying don't focus in on process or don't focus in on revenue, but where your alignment is coming from for the whole year, everything should be feeding it, right? Like, just because we're focusing on process doesn't mean we're not going to be courting new revenue. We're just going to be
Right.
making sure that everything is, you know what I mean? So just give it a little bit of thought. And then, we'll come back to where you really want your whole focus on. I don't want you picking more than like one on this one.
Well, then it's got to be revenue. It's got to be revenue.
Okay. That's fair. That's totally
Yeah.
fair. So, okay, cool. So then that's the whole focus, and we'll figure out the ancillary stuff as it comes up. So you already have some processes in. Main focus is revenue. Boom. Got it. Love it. So let's move to Jeff. Jeff, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right. What did we come up with for your theme, or let's try to come up with your theme if you haven't yet.
I think our theme's just trying to work on the sales process that actually works this year. So
Yeah, and you've tried a ton. So guys, I'm applauding Jeff for his stick-to-itiveness, but he has tried things that typically work and they just have fallen flat. So if you don't mind me saying it, Jeff, certain things have just not worked out the right way, or, certain pivots just haven't really been working throughout. Like the SDR that he went with wasn't really great. Then we went with another one. They weren't getting the right amount of calls, the right amount of meetings. It was frustrating. So now he's pivoting again and saying, okay, let's really dive in. And I think one of the things that we found with you, Jeff, is a little bit about the messaging on how we're selling it potentially. But you tell me, what are your thoughts?
I think we just kind of determined that it was more the buyer needs to be educated on what it is we sell. Because just making a 30-second introduction wasn't enough to educate them, to get them to convert. So
The education, right?
Same thing with emails. We're not able to convert them just with a 3-second email that they read. So
Absolutely. So it's a little bit more nurturing, a little bit more keeping people at the top of the funnel and taking them through a process. Dana, what do you think on that when you hear it? Because I know what's in your head when you start thinking in terms of that thought leadership piece of what they're doing. So if you have anything to add to that, I don't know.
I mean, I just not knowing the details of, what Jeff's been going through, but just hearing that one little piece of that the buyer needs more education. I think that's probably the biggest mistake that marketers make, is trying to take the leap from first introduction to setting a meeting or whatever that thing is without warm up, however that may be, in as many touch points as you can do it. But yeah, I think that's really just a matter of adjusting your expectation to what comes out of that first engagement. The expectation shouldn't be that the salesperson's going to get a meeting out of that first call, or from that first marketing touch. You're not necessarily going to get a conversion out of that one. So just making sure that you have your nurture campaigns in place, and that you're constantly tweaking those messages to see what is actually resounding with people. Is that what you were going for?
It was exactly what I was going for. Yes. Yeah. It's that the thought leadership piece is a big one, and it's a tough nut to crack, especially when you realize that you have to be the one that's educating your client, because what if they didn't know that they needed you in the first place? So it's you having to define that not only is there a need, but that they need you and why they need you. And so it's a little bit more, there are more steps to it than just assuming a meeting. So I think there's a little bit of that, a little bit of tweaking the messaging, a little bit of tweaking how we're inviting. But yeah, Dana hit the nail on the head for that, for sure. So, so if we were to think of the theme, it would be maybe to educate and to take, and that would be all encompassing, right, Jeff? Because that would take them through the right funnel, take them through the right nurturing, make them go through the right path in order to know that you're educating them correctly. Is that, do you think that might be fair for your theme for the
I
coming
think we
year?
call that, we
everything
call
flows
that
to
buyer journey. We call that buyer journey.
Yes, yes.
That could be a theme.
They could, yeah. Buyer's journey to buyer's journey, defining that. So we'll let you kind of sift on that one a little bit and sit on that and see if it works for you. But again, that would mean that everything for the next year is really funneled towards that. Let's go over to Sierra, because I know it's been an interesting few weeks for you guys.
Yes, I apologize. I do have a full office today, so if there's a little background noise, so I'm staying muted and off camera. I would say when we're talking about what our theme for the year would be is connecting our marketing and sales, really trying to make sure that they work with each other, and that kind of gets streamlined and we get that good process on how we're doing the marketing, how that marketing converts into sales, and then how this sales converts into actually being sold and revenue. So I think that's the direction that we're focusing on.
Man, I'm hearing a lot of this sort of process driven activity that's working through this group. So we may have a sub theme just for the whole group and just focus completely on the process for everybody going forward. So all right, let's move into Brian. What you got, man?
Hey, Alex. Hold on 1 second. Let me just adjust something on my computer because it's doing some crazy stuff here. Give me 1 second.
You got it. We'll move over to.
Well, no, I'm ready. I'm ready. Wait, I just had to.
Oh,
do
you're
one
ready?
thing.
Okay, you're ready.
First of all, can you see me? There I am.
Oh, hi, there he is.
Yeah. So, yeah, I figured on, three major goals, which is the first is, since we're bringing Charlie in, making sure that the SDR and Charlie is comfortable in his role, and we get those appointments going. So helping him make sure that he's successful in his role, which will make me successful in my role, because my role is then to follow up with the appointments. So that's primary one. That's the major goal. So that if he's successful, I become successful. We all become successful. Primary two is Kevin wants me to also delve into his clients and upsell. So he's having me look through his.
New expansion. We love that.
Yeah.
We love
so
expansion.
So he's having me look through, and then three is to create partnerships with other IT companies where we can offer the CMC, CMMC portion, so that we can team up with them, and they can still offer the IT services, but we can come in as a partner and say, hey, but you know what? If we work with some government agencies, we can help you guys connect with some of your clients and help them. So it's a three-prong attack. Again, the primary being Charlie and the SDR and moving appointments, because I got to make money too. And then, like I said, expanding the role of Kevin's clients and getting more revenue that way, and partnerships. That's it. You're quiet, Alex.
Agreed. No, agreed. I love it.
Oh. And I'm looking forward to the onboarding tomorrow thing, so that we can, make sure that we get into make sure that we're getting your system down pat.
So I like the system piece. I like the process piece. I do want to add one thing though, because as you were saying, sort of that three-pronged approach, but putting a lot on Charlie. I just want to make sure that the marketing piece, in order to support him, is there, as opposed to just banging on the phone, right?
Yes.
Not that banging on the phones isn't great, but any one of these guys on the phone has, or on this meeting, can tell you most of us have tried just banging on the phones, and you'll get 3-4 meetings a week if you're really, really, really good, and then it starts waterfalling. But
Yeah,
we
you're
have
right.
to have
Absolutely.
other stuff, right? It's a mix. It's not just putting all of the effort in Charlie's court, which, by the way, Charlie, you still have to do all of that stuff, and all of the pressure is on you, so you didn't get out of it. But that's really what we want to make
I'm
sure
looking
that.
forward to you guys showing us, ways that we can do that too, so that we can expand on that avenue too. So you're right, it's 4-pronged.
You got a thumbs up. All right, you're welcome, Charlie. So let's move it down to Charlie. We'll do 2 people in the same organization. Charlie, what is your idea for the theme moving in? Because you are relatively new. You just started making phone calls. You're just now getting, hey, there he is. You just started getting trained into it, and you're actually going to be banging on the phones and making meetings happen for Brian. And we've got people on like Quinn, Bashir, Lewis, and Jeff, and Sierra, all who would love to have a Charlie, right? So we want to make sure that you are focused on what you need to be focused on, and you understand not only what you do attributes and contributes rather to an overall goal and an overall theme, but that you feel supported through everything that you do, right?
Yeah, so I guess 2 parts to that. The first being, it's really nice to have Brian to kind of bounce off. Like we've been working on kind of voicemails that I'm leaving, and then kind of overall messaging. But one thing for anyone that is looking to get like an SDR or considering it, is like, you want to make sure that information is very important, because the more I've been able to talk to Kevin and Brian and figure out more of what exactly we're going on, because I had never really touched cybersecurity before this, the better it is for me to kind of understand how I want to guide conversations with people that aren't also directly handling it, to then have the right kind of setup where we would discuss a meeting. I still don't have one yet, but I keep doing script reform, and the calls keep getting better, which has been really encouraging. So, but at the end of the day, if you are thinking about an SDR, make sure you have kind of like a good, I guess, introduction of kind of the space and then what you're doing.
I love that insight, and I think everybody else would probably appreciate that as well. What are you doing right now from, I guess, knowing who to call? Because I think that's something that everybody on the phone also is interested to see, how other people are figuring out who to call, where the lists are coming from, how to prospect properly, if they're going to do it internally or externally.
Yeah, so right now we're kind of going
Not
on
to
like,
put you on the spot.
well, no, it's fine. We're going like very just straightforward. Like I'm calling main lines, having those conversations with people, and people are pretty open to tell me who I would look for the answer. So then I can again like call back and use a dial by name directory or something like that. One thing I think someone mentioned it earlier is like the messaging that we go to. I found people are much more, because we do compliance and IT services. If I mention the IT services first in the sentence, I've noticed people immediately kind of almost shut down, and they go, "No, we have that handled. Won't worry about it." Before I can even like have the conversation about compliance. So I've been able to switch that, and it's gotten me like it's astounding the difference in the conversation when I lead with the thing that is not like very common for people to shut you down on.
Right, rebuttals are huge, right? And that's something that we all as a group are going to go over probably in January, when everybody is back from holidays and can focus, because that's going to be a huge one, because it's not just you, Charlie, that has to have the rebuttal conversations, right? It's everywhere in the sales cycle, and it's every single conversation, right? So as we understand where everything is going through a sales cycle, whether it's at the beginning and you're just trying to book a meeting, or it's in the middle and you're trying to figure out if the champion's going to take you to who you need to go to, or if it's towards the end and you're just asking dad for the keys to the car, right? There's the guy that's going to sign the check. You have to be prepared and ready for all of those questions and be able to talk about them, right? So that's something that is probably one of the more, it'll probably be a couple sessions actually, and then we'll start doing that in office hours, because when you talk rebuttals, you could go on and on and on and on, and ongoing coaching is necessary for that. So Charlie, that's a huge mention that you just brought up, and it's only your first time actually talking on the group. So good job, man. Like way to bring up a really good important topic that not a lot of people think about. And what I find is that a lot of these MSPs, especially the owners and the CEOs, except for Lewis doesn't do this. Lewis gets it on a very like personal level. He talks to everybody for as long as they need, but a lot of these CEOs and business owners tend to need to get on to the next thing and rush, right? And so they want to have that conversation. They want to talk about what you need. Okay, great. And then send the invoice or send the contract or send whatever. And the person on the other end doesn't have a full feel of what you're doing and why you're doing it and what the technology is and why it's important and who you are as a person, right? Bashir, I'm not entirely sure about you guys, but I know that you get a lot of referrals, so you potentially have the good interpersonal relationships there. So that's where we really need to focus coming up in the next couple of months for sure. Who do we have left? Do we have Kyle? We have Kyle.
Hi.
Hi. You want to talk about your potential theme and focus for the next coming year?
Well, it was kind of eerie because everything Charlie was saying was right in step with us. We're also an MSP and a CMMC, consultant. So everything he was talking about, and it was funny when he said, putting that CMMC piece before the MSP piece, it makes a massive difference. And I think that's just right in line with like selling yourself in the best possible way, and that's a skill I've been developing and would like to continue to develop next year.
Amazing. So we actually are working with a couple of SDR companies to learn the art of the cold call. I could teach it, and Dana could teach it, and anybody on the CyberSells team could teach it, but we don't do cold calls on a regular basis anymore. And it's something that I feel a lot of MSPs, whether they have SDRs or not, need to understand the art of it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to start a video series on that, and they're already in production. They've already told me, yep, we have a couple videos. So we'll see the quality of it when they send it over to me, and we'll get that into those welcome videos in those modules on the platform. So as soon as they're ready, you'll have them, but it's an ongoing process. So nice job to both of you for playing in and actually being here in this group. I think it's really important that everybody on every level with no ego understands every step of the sales funnel and every step of the sales cycle and every step of what a sales rep has to do, especially owners, right? Because we all get so busy and we need to see what everybody's running into. Would you all agree or no? Okay, well, guys,
Yes.
so this is, thank you. I have, yay, okay, I have thumbs up, yay, okay. So the one thing that I wanted to talk about today, which we're already at the 40 mark. So what I'd like to do is I would like you all to log into the platform. If you have not gotten your login, and Lewis and Sierra, you guys can get them again, because I know we actually said we were going to pull away from the platform and go to Discord, but I think we've made some tweaks. I think it'll go a little bit better for you, but we have uploaded templates in the community chat, and it's really, really beneficial. So now that we have the theme, and guys, go ahead and tweak the theme. You don't have to go with the same theme that we talked about today on the call, but what I would like you guys to do is over the next, say, 2 weeks, because that's really going to get us to Christmas, right? We're going to get past Christmas. We've already sort of put in the goal, the activities that we need to do to get to that goal, and the roles and responsibilities, right? We had that assignment, quote unquote, from last week based on the theme for the following year or the next year. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go a step further, and that step further would allow you to then have a 30, 60, 90-day plan and assign it to yourself and assign it to whomever else needs to be in play, right? So that is already on the platform. It's ready to go for you. It is a simple download and edit and have fun with it, because I put it out there as, I tried idiot proof because I had myself in mind. So I'm like, okay, if I were a rep just kind of starting out going, okay, what do I need to do from a sales perspective? It would be, I need to understand who my target is, what I'm doing over the next 30 days to be successful, then what I'm going to do in the next 60 days to be successful, and then what I'm going to do in the next 90 days to be successful, and go quarter by quarter by quarter. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, it's very similar to most business owners on this call. It's going to make sense because you guys thought about this when you were opening your business in the first place. You had to kind of come up with that plan, unless you just threw stuff on a wall and said, hey, that stuck. So if you did that, more power to you, but we're going to do it the right way this time as far as how to get a sales organization going in the right direction and understanding where to review and how to review in a proper way. So this, Lewis, I'm sorry, this is where you actually do have homework that you have to turn in.
I see that.
I'm sorry. I knew it ahead of time. He was, see, look at your face. I knew it. It was just, I know, I'm sorry. So Sierra, I know that the way you all work, it's going to be a group effort, right? Doing the 30, 60, 90.
Yeah.
What I would suggest, and I would also suggest this for Charlie and Kyle as well, do it from the point of what you do. From an individual contribution perspective, create it for yourself. Don't create it for the company. This goes for everybody else on the call. If you guys are going to take a lead on the sales floor, create this for yourself as what you can personally do. I don't care what marketing's going to do for you. I don't care what, the systems, the operations, even though you guys just told me that all of your themes for the next year is all about operational success and putting systems in. I'm just going to say, I don't care right now. What I care about is what you personally are going to do to win sales as a sales rep in the next quarter. And I'm putting the onus on you guys because this, as when I'm talking to a sales rep and as we have more people join, we're going to start seeing reps that really, they are responsible for owning their own business. And it's their book of business. We treat them as if they are business owners because they truly are. They don't have a job if they don't make sales. They don't have a job if they don't hit quota. They don't have a job if it's the only profession I've ever seen that treats these people like business owners and people that have entrepreneurial backgrounds, even if they don't. And it puts all that pressure on them. So entrepreneurs and salespeople are very, very, very similar. And that's why I think this program, this platform works so well with all ranges of people and skill set in sales. So that's why I'm putting this all on you of what you personally can do. Do we have questions? Because it's a lot, and I know it's a lot. And I'm not going to make you do it all in 1 week. I'm going to make you do it and turn it in first week of January.
So do you have an example for us that we can look at and imitate until we actually know what we're doing?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. So on that template, if you go into and the reason I'm making you guys do it is because I really want you guys to start using the platform. So it's been a little quiet in there lately. So I want to make sure that everybody is utilizing it and using that for between office hours if you guys have questions or anything. So go into the platform. In the section that says community, it's hashtag community, it's a little chat. There are 2 pinned assets. So first is your company resume, which everybody by now should have gotten that filled out. And that's okay, Sierra, just as long as you can access it. Thank you. Everybody should be able to access it. And the second template, right? So the first one, you have to have that company resume filled out. If you don't have that done, you cannot do this next one. So we have to make sure that's done. And I think I've done one with almost all of you. So you should have it. Does anybody not have the company resume? Okay, perfect. So as long as you've got that, you're good. So then you go into the next template, which is a 30, 60, 90-day plan. And Quinn, for you, what I did is I actually, not just for you, but for the whole group, I put in what some salespeople would put in, right? It may not be specific to your particular organization, but it'll be pretty dang close. So you have certain things where you're going to put your competition, you're going to put what you're going to do, how you're going to prospect, you're going to put all of that information there. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm looking at your PowerPoint here that you have.
Oh, good. You got it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Thank you, Dana. All right. And then Stacy, you're on too. So Stacy's actually part of CyberSells, if you guys didn't know. So Stacy, you get to do this too. So every single person, you get homework as well on this call, gets to do this. This is the same assignment that I have literally had set for every single one of my sales reps. I had to do this way back when I was an individual contributor. I had to do this when I was a VP of sales. I had to do this when I was a sales manager. I had to do this when I was a marketing manager, and I still have to do it. So y'all get to do it with me. You're welcome. So this is literally, I do this every single year. So so it'll be interesting. We are going to have a longer TechSellerate that Monday, not the first week of January. I would never do that to you. Half of us are not going to be sober still, I'm assuming. So the week after that, Bashir's nodding his head like you don't know me. So the next week after that, so the week of the 6th, is that the week of the 6th?
On the 8th.
7th? The 8th, right. So the 8th. That's what I said the whole time. I was saying January 8th. So the 8th of January, it will be an extra long TechSellerate. It will start early because I want every single person to be able to present their 30, 60, 90 in 15 minutes. But it's going to go over because this entire group then is going to make comments, suggestions, and we're going to help each other through the first quarter. Okay? No pressure. So if you guys want me to read over this beforehand, you want us to see it, you want the team to go over it, that's totally fine. I'm open to it. I've reviewed many of these. Stacy, you too, you get to present on that, and so does Doug and Nick. So that'll be fun.
No,
Yay,
I'm excited
I
to
know.
do it.
It actually is a fun project because it gets everybody like pretty laser focused and understanding what they have to do. And it also, as you go through your pipeline and that pipeline's starting to tell you where you need to put your focus on, it helps you go, well, wait, did I say that I was going to do it this way or did I say I was going to do it this way? So now you can start seeing that this sales process is starting to come in line. So that is the premise and the reason why we do that 30, 60, 90. So there is a madness behind the method, guys. So just keep on trusting and believing, and we can get this going. One thing I will say for some of the newbies, once you get this in line, we will also make it available for some top of funnel execution and some CRM talk, which Lewis and Sierra, Angela and Steven and a couple others already took advantage of. And Lewis has done a great job booking some meetings already just on some automation. Jeff has tried it and didn't have as much success, but that has to do with a little bit of tweaking. So we can all work together as a team to get some successes and get some meetings come up out of that. But I'm not rushing into that. I want us to get the foundations done first, coming in through to the next year. Does that make sense for everybody? Everybody's on the same page? Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to open the floor for the next 5 minutes or so in case you guys have any questions. Otherwise, I think I may have actually finished up and given you guys a little bit of time to get back to your busy days.
Okay, so for meetings,
Sorry, go
For
ahead.
for meetings, our next kickoff is January 8th.
No, not next kickoff. So we actually still do have, actually, wait, hold on. Is Christmas next?
No,
Christmas is
yeah,
oh,
Monday. Yeah, so the next 2 Mondays are going to be Christmas and New Year's. So
you're right. Never mind. Okay, so the following Monday after that is, I think, January 3rd.
8th. No, 8th.
It really is January 8th. You guys, I'm not going to talk to you guys until January 8th.
well, you'll be here
For a kickoff?
Thursday.
Well, what
Well, I'll
about
be here
Thursday?
Tuesday. Well, I'll
Yeah.
be here Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, but
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was our last kickoff. I thought we had one more. This is how connected I am with holidays. So yeah, so I guess we're gonna have a long one next the next main kickoff.
Okay, so the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays meetings will still be there.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you will always have us for office hours and for pipeline meetings for sure.
Thank you.
Good question. I would have shown up.
Oh, we don't want you to show up on Christmas.
I mean, knowing me, I'd be like, oh, crap, my calendar.
You deserve to have a life too. So.
That's why I'm at Disney. So what, do we have any other questions from the group in order for you guys to be successful between now and the 8th on kickoff calls? Okay.
So let me just
All
ask
right.
you, so Rachel's gonna reach out to us individually to make sure we get the pipeline, I'm sorry, the platform access?
Yes. Yes, if you don't have platform access, Rachel's going to be reaching out to you anyways, but if you want to preemptively hit, because I want to make sure that every single person is on there, is supported, because especially breaking for the holidays for a little bit, if you guys have more questions or you need to access something, I want to make sure that you guys are able to.
Okay,
Okay.
got it. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, then I will see you all same bat time, same bat place tomorrow for office hours.
Bye. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank
Enjoy
you.
the rest of your Disney day.
Bye.